the ball, you hit the ball, you catch the ball. You got it!
There's no crying! There's no crying in baseball!
Viva! Cuba Libre! Welcome into episode number 69 of the Picked Off Podcast, the hardest hitting 30 minutes of baseball coverage you will get all week. I'm your host, Bitter Mike Babbo. Mr. Eric Schuler is on vacation. I think he's on some golf excursion or something like that, but that's okay because in his stead, we have a very special guest to welcome into the program and into the studio. He is the father of one of our young studs out of the Boerne Youth Athletic Association, otherwise known as the Boerne Little League, just up the road from where we are sitting in beautiful downtown San Antonio. Marshall Fischer and his mates went all the way to the Little League World Series in Williamsport, PA, by taking the Southwest region, going 3-1 in Waco earlier this month. Not without some controversy, mind you, and we'll get into that later on. But we are very grateful to have our guest on board here to give us a sneak peek as to what really happened and what it's like playing youth travel ball and getting all the way to the pinnacle of the Little League World Series. From soup to nuts, from the origins of this all-star team all the way out to the big dance. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome and thank you into the program. Another Valero team member, Lyle's father, Mr. Marshall Fischer. Marshall, how you doing this Friday afternoon? Thanks for coming on board, and welcome.
Thank you. Glad to be here. Excited.
That's great. Listen, we're going to take this soup to nuts. Like I said, origins of the Boerne All-Star team, the road to qualifying for the Southwest Regional, what the Southwest Regional was like, and including that controversy with the the Tulsa, Oklahoma team, what your team went through, and then on to Williamsport. We'll talk a little bit about the games. I know it was not what the team was hoping for, an 0-2 barbecue, but hey, the fact that they got there was an incredible accomplishment in itself. And what surprised you the most, and what you think the boys should take away from that, and life, what life is like in travel ball, because we've had several guests on our show, former major leaguers, World Series winners, and they all say the same things about travel ball. And I wanted to see what your take was like as a parent. So, I mean, right to it. So your son Lyle was picked after a season of BYAA, and he was picked to be an outfielder, a pitcher. He played a little bit of second base, and then of course they played some games in district. I think was it? Or
Yeah, there's 5 total rounds. So yeah, basically we have a pretty strong select organization within the Boerne region now. Obviously, when we went to Williamsport 2 years ago, there's been a lot of hype and everyone's super excited to get back into Little League. So kind of the approach you're seeing most parents take is to play Little League at kind of their 11 and 12-year-old age range while also playing select, which is a lot on the kids. But it gives them that opportunity to make a run when they're 12. And fortunately, we were able to get that done this year.
Yeah, that's great. And so you went into district first. You played, how many teams were in that district?
There was 6 teams, I believe. The team that gave us a little bit of trouble was Medina Valley, but we went undefeated in that. And then we went to sectionals next, which was in Del Rio. And we were able to pretty much sweep through that with no issues in that specific.
How many teams were there? 4 or 6 or?
I believe there was 6 in that as well. I actually missed that one, but the next one was the state tournament in Abilene, and that's where we ran into our first loss. We beat the Corpus Christi team, Oil Belt, in a nail-biter 13-12 finish. That was a fun game. Somehow redeemed ourselves with 6 errors and still got the win. But we played a Lubbock team that had an amazing pitcher, and at this age, pitching is really everything. And they had a stud that took us out in the first game. We had to come out of the losers bracket and then beat them back-to-back in the championship.
Okay.
To win that, to go to regionals, which is where we took the team to Waco, and that became quite an event that the news outlets.
Yeah, so you represented the Texas West region. There are 2 regions in Texas, right? Texas East and Texas West, and then, of course, you had the Oklahoma region. You had, I think there were like a total of 7 regions, right?
Mississippi, Arkansas, Oklahoma, Louisiana. Texas East, Texas West.
Okay, yeah, and so you lost the first
New
game,
Mexico,
right, in
also.
New Mexico, and you lost the first game to Texas East.
That's right.
I think it was like 3-1 or something like that. And so you had to go through the consolation bracket, and then all of a sudden, controversy happened with the Tulsa team. So what we read about is a kind of a vanilla version, or what read about is a vanilla version from ESPN and from The Athletic and stuff, whereas there was, an ineligible player, but they really didn't dive into it. So
Right.
What can you tell us about what really happened?
So with these little league teams now, there's been a lot of issues with certain districts kind of trying to pick off these top tier select players and then incorporate them into their so-called district where they may not live there.
Mm-hmm.
So when the rankings came out, preseason All-Stars, they had Northside Suburban here in San Antonio ranked number 4 overall. And we had played some of their select teams, and they're extremely talented. Very mature,
they play for keeps.
Mature 12-year-olds, very big. And so as we went into sectionals, we knew that was our most formidable opponent, and they actually got disqualified as well. So there's been quite a few teams that have had issues, but they had a few players outside the region that were ineligible, and then they got caught.
Okay.
And so you're seeing a ton of teams protest. That's like the new thing.
Okay.
Everyone's protesting everyone.
They see a kid that's way too big or
Right.
not clean shaven or whatever, and then it's like, okay, they raise a red flag. Or
That's right.
And parents, from what I understand, they have to keep their kids' birth certificates right in their purse or in their pocket or something like that, just
Absolutely.
to prove who they were.
Correct. And age used to be an issue back in the old days when we used to play Little League, but now it's more of where they
Location.
actually live.
Okay.
And so that's where there's been some issues. And so once we got through sectionals and not having to play that Northside team, we felt like, wow, we really got a shot maybe
Okay.
making it to Williamsport. And then this Oklahoma team was good, but the difference for them is Texas has so many Little League teams. It is a grind to get to that state championship.
Whereas Oklahoma doesn't.
Oklahoma had played 2 games
That's it.
to get to
Wow.
regionals. So there's only like 3 main districts. And so I think because of the size of the state and the small amount of locations, you are going to have some kids that were regionally kind of outside the district. And there was one specific, and this is where it gets interesting. He was put on the team. He was a top tier select player. Their whole team is select, which ours was minus 1 player.
Right.
Not all the same team, but just, put together. And this kid was an hour and a half away. And so there was a stipulation that if you have a
sibling,
especially if they have some sort of disability, there's what's called the Challenger League.
Mm-hmm.
And the Challenger League, if there's no Challenger League within your current district, you can go to a different one, and then that grandfather's sibling in. And so they took the route that their sibling was playing in the Challenger League in that specific district, and that gave them eligibility to play. Once they got through the state tournament where they won 2 games, their girls team got disqualified that made the World Series. And so once that happened, then protests start coming in about the boys. Well, if the girls did something wrong, the boys probably did too. So take a look. Little League denied the protests to begin with. When we're in the regional tournament, Boerne, Louisiana, and the Texas East team did file a protest because these parents nowadays dig into everything on social media. And
Right.
It's pretty incredible. I'm not a part of that, but a lot of people are. And they found that this kid did not live within that region, and they dug deeper and found that the sister was supposedly in this Challenger League. Well, come to find out, there was no Challenger League in that district whatsoever. That was fabricated. And the current administrator was trying to put games together to make this player eligible, realizing that...
So they're trying to just basically create a league.
Correct. And so then they realized, okay, we got a problem, so we'll leave that kid at home. So they showed up to regionals with that player no longer on the team. And so once you play one inning, one at bat, anything, you're now technically violating the rules. And so as we won 2 in a row, we were playing Louisiana in the so-called semis. That morning, Oklahoma was disqualified, and then it was broadcasted on ESPN that would be the championship.
And the parents of the Oklahoma team went bananas.
Absolutely crazy, yeah. They, at that point, After we won against Louisiana 4-1, we went to the regional office building that's in Waco.
Yeah.
And at that point, they were banging on the doors trying to talk to the VP of Little League.
You were inside the office, and you can hear them banging on the doors, trying to, I don't know, storm the place to make their voice heard.
Yeah, they wanted. This is after they filed the cease and desist or whatever they filed, the TRO.
With the local judge or with an Oklahoma judge, right?
Correct. So then there was this indication that we may be playing a game, but Little League said, "Hey, our decision's final. We're moving forward. You're going to Williamsport." So it was exciting, but then the news outlets took it, and we actually went home after that.
Right. That was like a Monday. You played that Louisiana game on Monday.
Right.
Right.
So we left that evening.
Right.
Because we were supposed to play them on Tuesday in the normal schedule. And with no game and Little League telling us it's over, then we took off. And then the news outlets said that there's going to be a hearing. So the hearing took place that next day, and we're kind of on the fence getting messages of like, are we playing or not? What's happening?
Which means you would have had to drive 3.5 hours back to Waco.
Correct. And so I guess when the original restraining order was filed, they didn't have all the information because it's some random judge in Waco,
right.
Which I still don't understand why it even went that far. But, parents want to be involved and they understand the exciting aspect.
Gee, parents screwing up youth stuff.
Yeah.
Shocker.
The life experience of Williamsport. So they were fighting tooth and nail to get it done. And then the judge heard, I guess, the evidence and said, the Little League decision stands, which I don't think would have mattered anyways. But
right, because Little League International, their CEO came out with a statement saying whatever that judge's decision was, he doesn't have jurisdiction because we are incorporated in Pennsylvania, and
that's right.
And it doesn't matter. So
right.
He doesn't have the jurisdiction.
They were a private entity. You can't incorporate some sort of legal action. You can sue us later, and we'll figure it out. But for now, our decision.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but all parents of the Tulsa team, they signed some type of an affidavit or a petition.
That's right.
And they put all their names on it, basically stating their reputation on this.
That's right. And they kept saying, well, this kid was not even there. And it's like, well, that doesn't matter. You've already violated the rules in the state.
Yeah, because he played a game in the state or the
Correct.
districts or whatever.
Correct.
Oh, wow. That's just... What's it say about that? I mean, in your opinion, when parents can get involved and they can just basically do anything, or they feel that just to get their team advanced into something like this.
It's such a detriment to the kids because all 12 of those kids had no idea what's going on. I mean, they're not involved in any of this. And then to escalate it to the point now where the media is probably interviewing people in Oklahoma, and the kids are just so confused on why it's escalated to this and why can't we play. It's a bad deal. I wish we would have been able to play them, but rules are the rules. And that's the thing the Little League is struggling to figure out is, so many people want to be involved and everything's so competitive to try to get to this World Series run that people are cutting corners, and it's happening everywhere.
Right, because now, I mean, even regional games are being televised, because I remember when I was young, I mean, only the final game was televised, and that was a new thing. And then they started televising all games in Williamsport, and now it's even expanded to the regional games, and
That's right.
It's just a matter of time before they start televising your district games and so on and so forth. So it's just... Anyway, so fast forward, you get the word, you're going to Williamsport. What's that like for the team? And, what was the reaction? And
it was incredible. I mean, we originally put this team together with the mindset of let's make a run and let's see what we can do. The talent on the team is obviously very strong to get as far as they did, but we really did feel they had a shot. But
in your heart of heart, though, when your head coach says we're going to go to Williamsport, what was the first thing out of your mind thinking?
Oh, I started laughing. I was like, you got to win the lottery to make it 2 out of 3 years. This is going to be extremely hard.
Yeah.
But you need things to go your way. Obviously, I don't know. Oklahoma's talent was strong, but I don't think that they were exceptionally better than us. I think it would have been a 50-50 shot most likely, but I think we were hot. So I think we would have had a great shot at winning that game. But ultimately, the excitement was massive. I think the quote of the Little League vice president was just, it doesn't matter what happens from here on out. you're going to the Disney World of baseball, and you guys have deserved and earned this. So it was pretty exciting.
That's cool. And of course, I guess and then it comes up to the coaches as to who he's going to start and who he's going to pitch, and of course, then he's going to have to scout. I mean, did you much scouting of the teams that you guys were going to play?
We had a group of dads that were all over it, so they were very familiar with who had been pitching. What are the options? Like our first game in the World Series, they had a bunch of lefties, and that was difficult for us. And I think it became obvious they pitched another lefty in the second game. So.
And that was kind of a nail biter and a heartbreaker as well, because I think from what I understand, you guys lost 4-3, and you had bases loaded. And in the bottom of the sixth inning, and nobody out, and you couldn't scratch a run, and so that was tough, and so that could have gone either way. And
it showed that the Oklahoma fan bases basically said we don't deserve to be there, but you could see in that first game it was our game to lose, and so the talent that we had would just kind of the bats fell off that game, and we made some errors that put us in a bad spot. But I mean,
were the kids nervous? Were they just
win.
Absolutely nervous? Do you think the moment was too big for them, or was it just was people putting undue pressure on? Because these are 12-year-olds.
It's incredible to be a parent to witness it. When you watch it on TV, it does seem like, oh, it's just a bunch of kids playing it. That looks fun, but it is intense. So I mean, when we were in Waco and we're in that room after the championship win, it's like, all right, the boys are leaving in 48 hours, so y'all need to get prepared. And Little League pays for the travel, and they have to travel as a team. So they flew with the 3 coaches 2 days later to Newark, and then they bussed them over to Williamsport. So it's just all happening so fast.
Right.
And then you don't know what to expect. You've never been there as a parent. And they got there on a Friday. Their first game was not till the next Friday. And so it was a ton of time. And
that's a lot of time. Do you get any practice time or?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So they're doing stuff. They have a schedule every day. They have all these media interviews. And so as parents, you're trying to figure out, when do I go up there? Because there's certain events, like the opening ceremony was on Wednesday. So everyone's living and learning at the same time, but while there's a lot of pressure, because now you're there and you want to perform, and you're getting all these interviews and doing these different ESPN kind of little shows that they want to do to put you on TV, as a team doing funny things, and really cool for the kids. But I think it was just a lot. And so the first game, I think we had quite a bit of a gap, but that full week of interviews and just being there on campus, because how the structure is it's like Fort Knox. So once the kids get in there, the security is excellent. So
really?
It makes you feel really good as a parent that they're protected. But they're in this dorm situation, and our team shared it with Japan, which was a great experience for the kids. And I think every kid on that team spoke English pretty well, which was awesome.
Yeah.
Then they shared a bathroom with Nicaragua. So the cultural experience for these, Boerne kids that maybe have never really been outside the country, some of them, was exceptional. And I think they learned a lot from that. But going into game one, I think cameras are in your face. They're wanting to know what's your favorite food, asking questions on anything possible, being in the spotlight, walking around, and everyone wants your autograph and take your picture. And
what was the biggest surprise? I mean, the biggest adjustment for the kids and for the parents? I mean, was it just because the whole notoriety and you guys are in the spotlight and now you're being treated like, major leaguers or something?
Yeah. Absolutely. I think that was part of it. I think also is you're away from your family completely. You're just with the coaches, and some of the kids know the coaches really well. Some of them didn't. We had a couple kids that I don't think they've ever slept over at someone's house. So
wow.
Huge adjustment to say, hey, I'm taking your kid.
And some kids, it's their first time on a plane, right? I mean,
yeah, I think one kid is first time. So
wow.
It's, huge shift, and everything just happened so fast. But their experience was just incredible. It was awesome. We did not win, but they won on experience, and they'll never forget everything they were able to go through in school.
Yeah,
really
that's
cool.
great. I mean, and then of course they had the Major League Williamsport game between the Atlanta Braves and the Milwaukee Brewers, 2 division leaders. And, of course, you got some superstars on either team.
Yep.
You got Austin Riley and Ronald Acuna Jr. and Ozzie Albies for the Atlanta Braves. Ozzie Albies was really touched because his native Curacao was in the World Series, and his head coach was when he was a little leaguer, was the head coach for the Curacao team. And so, I mean, you can see, I mean, it was very emotional when he was taking pictures, and you see, I mean, you see some former greats like Gary Sheffield was taking pictures with your team and stuff, and of course you see Jackson Churio and Kristen Yelich. I mean, what was that like meeting the? I mean, what is it like for the kids to meet those young major leaguers like that?
Oh, they could not have been happier. It was a dream come true for a lot of them with Acuna and other players. Albies was in the dugout with Curacao going nuts while the team was playing. I mean, it was so cool to watch. Just the whole experience when they showed up and were sitting in the stands. We weren't playing, but they were there that day. But yeah, Gary Sheffield signed a ball for my son, and just the experience of he didn't even know how good Gary was. It was like, dude, it's Gary Sheffield. The guy was a god when I was growing up.
I mean,
he was amazing.
He's a World Series winner for sure. Yeah.
And but yeah, their experience. It's like 5,000 people in that small stadium there. I think it's their minor league stadium,
right?
And so the security's tight, and it's hard to kind of find your spot. But the experience was great. The Curacao team was right by us, so they're just yelling at the Braves, talking back and forth. And guys coming over to sign autographs for every kid that they could. I mean, they put their time in and spend it well with trying to take care and make that special for the boys.
That's just incredible. I guess what do you think? I mean, so you're scouting the teams. Okay. Was there one team that you looked at and said, God, I hope they get eliminated before we have to face them?
I don't think there was any specific team. There's certain players you look out for. That Thyssen kid at Iowa is an absolute stud. I think you're going to see that guy go far. Yeah. He's throwing 75. He's hitting home runs. He's a true baseball player. He's tall. He's lean. Obviously very good at the game. We were probably more concerned about the international teams and being able to compete with some of the size. They're really solid over there. But I think if our bats would have been on, I don't think we would have worried really about anyone specifically. It was just like that Metro team had Rincon, which is mainly a catcher, but he pitches as well. But he hit a couple home runs. He had that nice walk-off in the first game. Yeah. So there's just multiple players that are big. I always joke that the team with the most mustaches is going to win the game. But they had a few of those, and you know, my son's on the smaller end at 5 foot, 5'1", and we played which team was it? The Northwest team. They had a 6'1"
Seattle team, the Washington team.
6'1" first baseman. So I mean, you just have some big kids out there.
Yeah, and then of course you ran into a Hamilton, Ohio team, which is playing for the U.S. side of the national of the championship this year, and they were just solid defensively, and they didn't make any mistakes at all. And
that's right.
They took advantage. Admittedly, they took advantage of some mistakes from the Boerne team. I mean, which is what you're supposed to do, really. I mean,
I didn't feel like they talent-wise were blowing us out of the water. I think they just systematically have a system down that works extremely well.
And you told me that coach. I mean,
43 years of Little League volunteer.
I don't think he's got any problems with their parents, right?
No, he's got them under control. And they were great. And that was one thing that was really special is you go to some of these select tournaments and parents are chirping at each other, and everything at Little League was just cordial.
That's
really good sportsmanship, and it was really fun. It was a kind of a enlightening environment compared to this travel ball stuff.
Yeah, that's for sure. Well, lastly, before we let you go, Marshall, we really appreciate you coming on board. Is there anything that you hope that the boys and of course the parents will take away from this experience?
You know, I think the lesson that this team learned was in the state tournament, in the regional tournament, and then subsequently the Williamsport experiences, we lost our first game, or we had a loss in those tournaments and had to go through elimination bracket. So their experience on back against the wall and finding a way to get it done, I think was incredible, that they'll remember forever. Some of these teams kind of walk through these tournaments and have it easier schedule. They had a really tough one and they performed, which was really great to watch. And I think for the parents, it was just, how do we support our player? I mean, they're 12, they're emotional. you're in a big game now on TV, and if you strike out, how do you handle it?
Right.
And I think the maturity that these kids received in such a short amount of time was unbelievable. I think it'll change their life forever. And I think the parents were on our heels the whole time trying to figure out what is going on next because everything's moving so fast. But just to be able to support the kids and see their excitement through the process was incredible.
No, that's wonderful, and hopefully the parents learned something from the kids too. I would imagine that the kids got over the losses a lot quicker than the parents
absolutely.
did.
There's always Monday morning quarterback, and what could we have done differently, or what could I have done to help my child perform better? But at the end of the day, it's how did they do, and I'm proud of them. Right?
Yeah,
they're 12.
Absolutely. I mean, second time in 3 years that they made it all the way through the Boerne Little League team. Right. So congratulations to them. Congratulations to you. It's an experience of a lifetime. So
absolutely. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much for coming on board. That'll do it for this episode of the Picked Off Podcast. Next week, Mike and Eric will preview the home stretch and handicap the final wild card spots as we turn the calendar to the last month of the regular season. We want to thank you all for listening in. We also want to thank you for your feedback. We want to make this show better because we do it for you. You can catch us every week on Apple, Spotify, Google Play, or wherever you get your podcasts. You can also follow us on X at TheBitterMike or on Instagram, BitterMike1963. Time is precious, so we appreciate you spending some of yours with us, Mike, Eric, and, of course, Marshall, and talking the great game of baseball. Have a great weekend, everyone. See ya.
Well, now, wait a minute.